And we're pleased to have Richard Inman as our speaker today. Always an important message. And today's talk is titled Sensing the Divine. So take it away, Richard.
Okay, thanks, Chris. Great to be here all with you. Gonna have to get my mouth working. Great to be here with you. Many of us, our congregation is hanging out with their family, and sometimes it's fabulous. Sometimes it's like, oh my God, I forgot how crazy these people are. I heard a great quote from Ram Dass. He said, if you think you're enlightened, go stay with your family for a week.
That's right.
And that certainly can be true for some of us. I just wanted to start off with something kind of upbeat. The title of the talk is Sensing the Divine. And last Sunday, we had a fun Christmas party and a Christmas concert. We sang Christmas songs. We ate snacks. Someone made some fabulous cookies that I ate like 4 of them. Couldn't control myself. They were so wonderful. And I heard a great little catchphrase. It said, community creates immunity. And that immunity, maybe it's not immunity to the COVID-19, but it's immunity to loneliness and immunity to depression. You know, some of us get depressed around the holidays, and getting around other humans who are just like us, hanging out, eating cookies, singing songs, getting a little sunshine. It was very life affirming. Some of you couldn't make it to the concert, and we were with you in spirit. And so I made a little video. I just want to see if we can play it and give you a sense about what it was like to be there. And next year, we want you to come out because we like seeing you in 3D because it's fun. All right, I'd like to thank you all for coming out today. Beautiful. We are so fortunate to not be in a snowbank being covered with snow, because that's scary. I was recently in New Hampshire on the way back to going out to a flight, and we were on our way up a hill, and all of a sudden there's a blizzard, and we were not in a four-wheel drive nice car like you were in, and wheels are spinning. We're just standing in one place, and we're like, oh no, we're going to be spending tonight in the snowbank. That doesn't sound fun. And somehow we made it. So I know what it's like to be in that freezing, scary spot. This is the Mighty Light Choir. We have a few members missing today. These are Mighty Lights and wonderful singers. I'd like to acknowledge Janice Lamont for being co-director of this beautiful group. And this opening song is a song Janice and I wrote. Yeah. We wrote this song a couple years ago for our Christmas choir. And it's our theme song. It's called One Mighty Light. And that one mighty light is the light of spirit that's in each and every one of us. And it guides our way and gives us strength. And some of you know this tune. And if you'd like to sing along, just belt it out. One of my sayings to the choir is there are no wrong notes. There's just interesting notes. So if you feel like you want to sing interesting, any really horrible singers here today? You? Oh, wow. We need you guys. There's a mighty light shining in my soul. There's a mighty light that makes me whole. There's a mighty light shining in my soul. Mighty, mighty, mighty All right. Whoa, that was fun to watch. So been a wild year, huh? I just saw I saw this on my news feed the other day, and I mentioned these because they're so startling to me. It says 75% of those surveyed said that 2021 was the worst year of their life, and they are afraid of the future. I don't know if that was. I might be condensing all the. Anyway, I thought that was a very interesting thought. I doubt that there's 75% who are that worried. Some of us are just worried about getting new tires on our car, something like that. So it's not a big deal. We are one mighty light, and being lights of the world, we have a responsibility to maintain our health and our strength. And this is a little blurb. I think this might be Alan Cohen. Let's see, I forgot to put the quote here. It says, if there is war, famine, plague, or threatening weather, there are ones in the community who do not drop into fear or upset. Even while others may, they are the rock upon which the tribe continues to thrive and inspires the others to persevere and triumph. The world, it seems, is in terrible condition. The pandemic lingers longer than we expected. People who once loved each other argue over vaccination. Politics are polarized, and the economy is unstable. How does a sane and reasonable person respond to so many challenges? And I wrote, by sensing the divine. That's what we're going to talk about today. And found a couple great quotes that were inspiring to me. And this one is, here's the main message of this talk. If you can get this down, you can just get a sense about what this is about. You've got your money's worth today. It says, the metaphysical minister Reverend Ike said, at your lowest point, prepare for your greatest good. When darkness looms, that is the most fertile moment to choose the light. Reverend Ike asked, are you going to give up or get up? Every challenge is a prelude to a breakthrough. Setbacks are setups in disguise. Every challenge is a prelude to a breakthrough. Setbacks are setups in disguise. I've had an interesting month, some setbacks, and one of my setbacks was I got a call, I don't know, about a week and a half ago from my aunt saying my dad was getting sicker. So I thought, okay, well, after the choir concert, I'll see about getting a ticket and I'll go back and see him. He lives in Southern Illinois, or did live in Southern Illinois. Anyway, last Thursday, I got a message that Dad had passed. And didn't plan on crying on that one. And you get initial gets some news that's startling to you, and I kind of go into denial, and I have a shield that protects me from things that seem to be frightening. And I realized that this month I was going through a thing called the dark night of the soul. So I was looking around, and Eckhart Tolle had this wonderful little paragraph about that, which was very helpful and insightful to me. And I'll just throw it out to you.
The dark night of the soul is a term that goes back a long time. Yes, I have also experienced it. It is a term used to describe what one could call a collapse of a perceived meaning in life, an eruption into your life of a deep sense of meaninglessness. The inner state in some cases is very close to what is conventionally called depression. Nothing makes sense anymore. There's no purpose to anything. Sometimes it's triggered by some external event, some disaster, perhaps on an external level. The death of someone close to you could trigger it, or you had built up your life and given it meaning, and the meaning that you had given your life, your activities, your achievements, where you are going, what is considered important, and the meaning of that you had given your life for some reason collapses. And goes on to say, it can happen if something happens that you can't explain away anymore. Some disaster which seems to invalidate the meaning that your life had before. Really, what has collapsed then is the whole conceptual framework for your life, the meaning that your mind had given it, so that results in a dark place. But people have gone into that, and then there is the possibility that you emerge out of that in a transformed state of consciousness. And that's what I want to talk about, is coming out of difficult situations. And most everyone I talk to say, wow, this year's been what? A tornado just 200 miles mowed down all through Kentucky and all, it's like, wow, haven't heard of that one yet. And so one thing that kept coming up for me and kept kind of, it was an earworm in my head. It was and you've heard this, it's Psalms 23:4, which reads, even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me, your rod and your staff, they comfort me. It's one of the most well-known verses in the Bible. It is commonly used during funerals or by those approaching death. The message of Psalm 23:4 is one of comfort. We do not need to fear. God is with us, and his presence gives us strength and hope. The valley of the shadow of death is possibly not the most accurate translation of the original Hebrew text. It is translated directly. The direct translation is, instead of the shadow of death, it's the darkest valley. Even though I walk through the darkest valley. And there's a Hebrew word called mawet, which means death or the darkest valley. And many of us have had death experiences this year. I've had actually a couple good friends and one acquaintance have died of complications from COVID. And then my mom and dad died this year. And then there's been a lot of endings. And a friend of mine committed suicide, had lost his business, and he killed himself. So for those of you who are having a dark night of the soul this year, I want to throw out a lifeline. I had a friend, he was my choir director in college. I was going through a rough spot, and he gave me this talk, and I'll give it to you. He said, and all of his family was from Minnesota, and he said every year, there were a lot of farmers. He grew up on a farm. He said, you get 5 feet of snow, 8 feet of snow sometimes, and you'd have to go out and feed your cows and your horses, and you couldn't find the barn because it's all white. And so before a snowstorm, they would run a rope from the house to the barn, and they would grab hold of this rope, dig out the snow, go out and feed the animals, and come back to the house so that they didn't get lost in the snow. Everything looked like it was just crazy. And he used the metaphor saying that rope is that connection to your spirit, to your higher self. And sometimes you have to hold on to that rope and have it guide you and keep you safe and fed. And anyway, I was looking around for some quotes. And here's one from Gerald Jampolsky that I particularly like. We are always expressing either love or fear. Fear is really a call for help, and therefore a request for love. What we experience is our state of mind projected outward. And that last sentence, boy, that one sticks in your throat a little bit, you know, because I look at my experience this year, and although I've had some absolutely elation, just some great joy, wonderful life. I could feel the hand of God on my shoulders a lot of the time. There were moments where I was falling into despair. And when you look at that statement, what we experience is our state of mind projected outward. I remember when I was in college, I took a film class, and the film instructor showed us a film of a baseball game for 10 minutes. And we were all like sitting there going, oh, wow, why are we doing this? Why are we just looking at the baseball game? Afterwards, he said, most of you were all just watching a baseball game. He said, what you might not have realized is every other frame was a baseball game, but the other frame was a bullfight. And when we show the same film in Mexico, people see a bullfight. So my takeaway from that particular lesson was that we see what we know. What we experience is our state of mind, and it is projected outward. So when you when you read the news, or you watch some of the things that can be interpreted as, oh, horrible. When I heard that my dad had died on Thursday, I thought, oh, wow, what? Dad? And that night, a friend came over with some hot chocolate, and we were talking about it. And before I knew it, I could feel my dad's presence. And I started, my dad, interesting guy, funny guy, great storyteller, know-it-all, kind of like me, thinks he knows way more than I'm educated beyond my intelligence a lot of the time. I could see myself acting like my dad. And I felt like my dad was in the room, enjoying being out of his body that wasn't working for him. He was hanging out with me, and it was very comforting and sweet. Anyway, I was, if you any of you have a news feed on your computer, or you watch the news on television, a lot of the stuff is very frightening and scary, and it's meant to scare you and frighten you. That's kind of what it's about. And I was just reading a feed, and there were some very unusual there were some unusual events, and I just wanted to read a couple of them because it really made me laugh, and it cheered me up. These were actual headlines that happened this week. Meet the nuns who grow weed. Impregnated female chimp with human sperm. That's a real headline. That happened. Scientists discover a new part of the human body. And when I read that, I thought, well, I hope that's the part where we can massage it and it makes us slightly more enlightened and intelligent. That would be fabulous. But all you have to do is rub here, and bingo. Priest hired to prepare humans for alien discovery and contact. So I've got his phone number, and I'll put it in the chat if you wanted to get prepared for the alien discovery and contact. Anyway, I thought I'd throw that out there. One of the things about sensing the divine is seeing the divine in other people. Namaste, the spirit in me beholds the spirit in you. The Christ in me sees the Christ in you. And I love this quote from Alan Cohen. It talks about loving each other and how to do that. It's very difficult sometimes when we're being confronted with our family during the holidays. This is a message for some of you who will view this, and you've been hanging out with your relatives and you're like, Dad's crazy. What happened? Those who love you are not fooled by mistakes you have made or dark images you hold about yourself. They remember your beauty when you feel ugly, your wholeness when you are broken, your innocence when you feel guilty, and your purpose when you are confused. That is a superpower. That is a way of sensing the divine. Let's see. I read this, I think, a few weeks ago, and so many people responded to it and said, hey, that was the best part of your talk. And I thought, well, hey, it worked great before. I'm going to say it again. And this is a lesson I've had to learn over and over again. My mom was one of these worriers. She liked to worry about stuff. And every time I'd go out the door or visit or whatever, she'd say, be careful. Like, I'd walk out the door going, what? Something bad? Something horrible going to happen? What? Help me. And this is a great lesson. Worry is not a form of love. It is a form of fear. Worry is prayer in reverse. If you feel worried about anything, what affirmation can you turn to neutralize the worry and keep your mind on track with your vision? You may not be able to control events, but you have total control over how you respond to events in thought, word, and action. All is well is not a statement of hope. It is a statement of truth. So I'm going to end up this talk. I want to thank you all for coming and listening to me. I can feel your spirit. I'm looking forward to seeing you in real 3D form. It's more fun. Got to see everybody last Sunday. I had the privilege of seeing someone I hadn't seen in 40 years. We went through nursing school together 40 years ago at Atascadero State Hospital. And sometimes we would have to do night shifts, and it was just her and me, and we'd be hanging out all night long. When you hang out with someone all night long, you got to stay awake because they will fire you if you fall asleep. And we share each other's life stories, and I hadn't seen her in 40 years, and there she was. And we were talking about what life had been like for the last 40 years, what we had learned. And one of the interesting things that would happen at night, the night shift at Atascadero State Hospital, sometimes, this happened quite often with me anyway, you'd get someone would knock on the nursing window, and you'd open, what's going on? I go, and I was working on this unit where there was a dormitory with like 16 beds. And I remember this guy would come to the door, and it happened about every other night I would work. And he said, Rich, there's demons under our bed in our dorm. And I said, what? The demons? He goes, yeah. And we can't go to sleep because the demons are not leaving us alone. And what are we going to do? And I'd say, wow, I don't know. And then I remember one night, you hear it a few times and you just start making stuff up. And I said, well, let me tell you, Gerald, you are way in luck tonight because I am a demon caster outer. Demons are scared of me. When they see me, they just run, they just get out of there. And so I would go into the room and I'd look under the bed and I'd say, these demons have left. They know I'm here and they are scared of me. And what's interesting is this particular patient had convinced all the other patients that there were demons under the bed and they were all scared. So I became known as the demon slayer on that unit. And the metaphorical takeaway from that is many of us are demon slayers. We can dissolve thought forms and worries and fear with each other, just by being with each other and looking into each other's eyes and affirming the Christ in me meets the Christ in you, and all is well. So demon slayers, go forth. There are no demons under your bed. Trust me. Or if there are, call me up. I'll come over. They're scared of me. They hate me. They're feared. They're afraid. So I'll end with this. And after this, I think we're going to play one more song. I wrote this song when I first came back to Unity 3 years ago. It's called Breathe In New, Breathe Out Old. And Chris made reference to us letting go of parts of our life that aren't working, and to do it and make room for the new year, for the good that is coming our way. So in your deeper heart, your intuitive heart, it is the place where the higher mind and pure awareness, the part that senses the divine, the subtle emotions, and your soul identify, all come together, and you connect to the universe where presence and love are. Supernatural love really exists in each of us. It is part of our deep inner being. It is not so much an active emotion as a state of being. It's not I love you for this reason or that reason. Not I love you if you love me. It's love for no reason. Love without an object. It's just sitting in love and sensing the divine. So during this song, take a moment and sit in love. Let go of anything that might be in the way of you experiencing the Great Spirit and the love that flows through that. There's a saying that love brings up everything unlike itself to be healed. As if anything comes up during this song while you're letting go, let it go, let it pass. It will pass, and all is well.
Breathe in new, breathe out old. Turn your darkness into gold. Breathe in new, breathe out old. Let your breath free your soul. Let your breath free your soul. Born to love, born to give, born to sing, born to live, born to joy, born to soar. This is what we're here for. This is what we're here for. Breathe in new, breathe out old. Turn your darkness into gold. Breathe in new, breathe out old. Let your breath free your soul. your soul. Born to share, born to dance, born to laugh, take the chance, born to joy, born to soar. This is what we're here for. This is what we're here for. Breathe in new, breathe out old. Turn your darkness into gold. Breathe in new, breathe out old. Let your breath free your soul. Let your breath free your soul. Let your breath free your soul. Breathe in new, breathe out old. Breathe in new, breathe out old. Breathe in new, breathe out old. Breathe in